Welcome back to Nightmare Threads with your boys. This cycle continues. I'm your co-host, Joe, and the main person is going to be your boy, Scott.
The main
He is
person.
here. Today's reading will be I met someone who claimed to be the devil, and I believe them. Ooh. Okay.
Let me get off by
Uh,
saying that I'm not particularly religious. If you asked me, I believed in God. I'd probably just shrug, grunt out a few words about being on the fence about it, and continue with my day. Of course, that was before last night. My friends are the kinds of people who like wild nights, crazy parties, snort a bit of Coca-Cola. Take a bit of E in the bathroom. I don't know what take a bit of E is. Maybe hook
wanna
up with
know?
someone and leave a text on my phone at 10 past who the fuck knows telling me they don't need that ride I'm offering at all. Yeah, what is E?
Ecstasy.
That would probably make sense.
Also, did you read this before you?
No. Not to say I don't like a drink. I do. It's just clubs aren't my style. Laying low in a pub somewhere, drink in hand, listening to the TV drone on to whatever channel some scruffy guy in the back barked out for. I guess that's my idea of fun.
What are you in Ireland?
Yeah, probably. Those Scottish people go crazy.
I know.
Just not where they come from.
They just pop out of the, like,
Oh, hello.
the pub.
It's drinking time.
Okay.
So when my friends tell me they want to go out for a night on the town, I say sure. I hang on for the first club, buy a non-alcoholic beer in case my car is required, and I try to pretend that I'm having fun. By the time I see them grinding on on guys, what the fuck? When they strike a conversation with someone who definitely might be a dealer, well, I decide my services are no longer needed. We aren't too far out. The night tube is on beck and call, and I can always find my car the next day. That's when I wander out of the club, look for something a little more rustic. Not that it's hard to find, not at all. I find myself a bit of a state inside of a bar called the Ragged Feather. Wasn't a fan of the name all that much, but the drinks were cheap and the largest demographic seemed to be middle-aged men watching reruns of the football. Okay.
You know this person does not watch the football.
Hey, did you watch the football last?
Also, I love how it is so close to the ragged flagon.
Yeah, it's like almost ripped. I try to pretend I haven't just staggered out of a club with my ears ringing. I slicked my hair back, slipped my phone into my hand, and wandered over to the bar. I took a double shot of whiskey and drank it in one hit. Just because I wasn't at the club didn't mean I couldn't have a good time. I hung at the bar a while on my own, scrolled through my phone, pretending I was doing something far more impressive than I really was. I kept an ear out for the guys on the sofas. They'd get vocal every now and then. I think the football was just running highlights, but they were incredibly dedicated to their teams. I got another whiskey and bled into the background. Of course, stragglers from the clubs are commonplace. I wasn't long until some scantily dressed women staggered in, laughing, chuckling, pointing for where they wanted to sit. I saw a guy walk in with his friend slug over his shoulder. Catatonic, most likely. He threw his friend onto one of those leather sofas ingrained with beer and smokes and demanded 2 pints of water, and all the peanuts in the bar had in stock.
What? I'm really confused if this person's ever been to a bar.
Yeah. Bar. Oh god. It's more of like a club than anything, I guess, or like a rave.
Are you sure it's just not somebody's basement? Also, why would you ask for 2 pints of water?
Yeah, just ask for a glass of water.
You can just ask for it, like, just, hey, my buddy's over there drunk, like, can I get some water for him?
I don't know why they would want pints. Anyway.
Yeah, go ahead.
The bartender seemed bitterly amused. Some of the girls were taking selfies, Snapchatting their friends who were still at the club. They were ordering shots, gearing themselves up for the next leg of their night. A couple of blokes wandered in with curries in takeout. Oh, wait, what? Curries in takeout trays? Okay. I saw
Yeah,
I saw someone eat a Big Mac on the outside seating through this. Dude, this is so hard to read. Holy fuck. Through the window. Okay. This was a night for the young and an inebriated.
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 In
You know what? You read this sentence. Fuck you.
This was a night for the young and inebriated. My mind was just dulled enough by the whiskey to enjoy the characters I could watch peacefully. What the
It's so hard.
peace? It's supposed to be peacefully.
Yeah.
How interacting with them. Okay, that should have been proofread before you submitted that. But I'm sorry, and I can't write or read.
Yeah. Okay.
Ooh, okay.
That is until someone slipped into the seat next to me. Do I look like a girl with daddy issues?
Yes.
She was of average height. Sorry. I don't know why I did that voice. She was an average height, although that wasn't apparent immediately, due to the fact that she was leaning her arms heavily against the bar. She was slim, with short and outstandingly bright red hair. It framed her round face, a face that was marred with smudged eyeshadow, smudged lipstick. Hell, it looked like it looked like her makeup was in the process of melting right from her face. There was a chip knotted into a curl in her hair, just by her forehead. The drunk side of me was actually tempted to pick it out. The girl was clearly drunk, and as I looked around the bar, I couldn't quite place where she had come from. She didn't belong to the crowd of the selfie takers. She wasn't with the catatonic guys. I hoped for her safety that she wasn't the middle-aged man with the adult. Oh, fuck me. I hoped for her safety that she wasn't with the middle-aged men. I tried to look out the window to see if maybe a group was missing one fuck me, dude. Here we go again. One inebriated, bright-haired girl, but I couldn't. The window had fogged up. Too much heat inside, not enough outside. Are you okay? I asked her. She pointed her finger at me. Answer my question, she slurred. I really wasn't sure what to say. I settled on staring at her awkwardly, trying to answer her with a bemused expression on my face. The girl's lip curled into a drunken smile. She snorted, placing a hand over her mouth to smother her laughter. It only really aided the deconstruction of her lipstick. I do, you know, she said, pushing herself a little against the bar. Have daddy issues, I mean, in case that wasn't obvious. She gestured to herself, to the mused clothing that must have looked quite spectacular when she left home that evening. The stains that looked a lot like old food. The sticky residue on her neck and shoulders that was quite obviously a thrown drink. What happened? I asked her. Her hair had curled around her neck. I realized it was sticky with the same substance. She was a wreck. I got in a couple fights, no big deal, she said, shrugging. Didn't start any, of course. No, I don't do that. But my father. Your dad did this to you? She smiled brightly. In a way. Do you need me to call?
Sorry. I was just thinking.
This voice.
Also, I love it was a girl, and then it went straight into like redneck hillbilly.
I don't know. This voice makes me fucking laugh too much.
My daddy did it.
My daddy did it. Holy shit. And then the main character's just like a normal white guy.
Like, what the fuck did I just walk into? Anyways.
Okay. Do you need me to call someone? I already had my phone in my hand. The girl looked like she was probably in her early 20s, but that didn't mean she couldn't have been suffering from some kind of parental abuse. The only number I knew off the bat was child line. Is that an actual thing? Which wasn't
No
quite
idea.
appropriate. The police? Jesus, what was I going to have to deal with when the cops tonight? While my friends were snorting Coca-Cola not 2 doors down. The girl pushed my hand down firmly. She was already shaking her head. No, she said. She told me. I don't want you to call anyone. Now that her expression changed, it wasn't the attempted sluttery look I'd seen on many girls of her state. It was open and wide and engaging. She wanted something from me, and I felt compelled to give it to her. I want something. What do you want? I asked her. To tell you a story, the girl said before glancing at the bar, and for you to buy me a drink. The universe is a pain sometimes, and I'm afraid I think I might have lost my wallet. I laughed. Ha ha. I didn't know this girl. Didn't know where she come from at all. My nights were generally about getting comfortably wasted and making sure my friends weren't dead in a ditch by the end of it all. I was used to getting hit on every now and then, but even as I sat at the bar stool with a drink in my hand, I knew that this wasn't what this was. The girl had no intention of getting into my pants. All she wanted was to talk. I guess you go. Yeah, go on.
I was like, gosh.
We're fucked.
I don't even know if I really. She does not look like the type of girl I want to get in my pants.
not with the voice I'm giving her.
Yeah, that's true.
Where am I?
No.
I guess I was okay with that. What's your poison? I asked her. Her lips quirked. Appletini. I can't, dude. I can't with this voice. It's so fucking funny to me. Okay. The bar offered a limited cocktail menu, but by some miracle, I was able to order her an appletini from the list. I ordered a cider to go with it, suddenly a little too aware of what this night could go. I unthinkingly supplied this liquored up stranger with even more alcohol. She had clearly had a rough night of it. A part of my old instinct came back, the same instinct that had me texting my friends every few hours to make sure they hadn't wandered off to somewhere dangerous beyond the club. With no one but the bartender aware of our existence on these stools, I realized that I was suddenly responsible for this very drunk stranger. The girl coddled her drink, running her finger delicately over the rim of the muggy martini glass. This takes me back. And the girl said, what the fuck is that word? Mildly?
I don't even know where you're at.
This takes me back. The girl said, I don't know what this
I think it's supposed to be admittedly. Oh,
maybe.
yeah. I don't know. I can't even pronounce that one.
She looked at me suddenly with her green eyes. Startling? I think it's supposed to be. I don't know. You know what this was called originally? She smirked before I could answer. An Adam's apple martini. I snorted. Yeah, I think I've heard that one before.
Are they siblings now?
I don't know, man.
That was a pretty normal voice. Then all I got was, yeah, I think so. I think I heard that one. You want to come over to my bedroom there, sister?
Hey there, cousin. This is Alabama.
Go on.
Of course it wasn't actually an apple. She continued moving her eyes back to her glass. The text translated that part wrongly, mostly because you people don't have a word for it anymore. The fruit was incredibly exotic, and to be honest, it doesn't exist in this realm of existence. Only Eden. He laughed dreamily, and Eden's long gone. I stared at her. Are you okay? It was more honest than the last time I asked her, mostly because I was beginning to feel a little dread creep into my stomach. Of course, the girl said, grinning widely. Why do you keep asking? I mean, I stuttered. I just don't know. Wait, I just don't take this the wrong way or anything, but You look like someone poured their drink all over me, the girl asked. Like someone else threw their kebab on my dress and another unpleasant chap littered me with his fish and chips. That I've been hit, slapped around a bit, and left in the gutter for the rats to find me. She held her eyes for a incredibly long time before her face broke out into the grin. Yeah, something like that. Why would they do that to you? I asked. Why wouldn't they? The girl shot back. People aren't that great and alcohol makes them worse. She shrugged. Sometimes makes them better, nicer, a little looser in the sack, but mostly just annoying and a little smelly. I looked at her. I watched her knock back her drink. She exuded the intelligence to know just how ironic her words were, but she was neither caring nor apologetic about them. The girl looked at me again. You bought me a drink. Now you can listen to my story. I nodded wordlessly. She smiled, pointing at the bartender and then at her drink. The bartender was already making her another. Aidan, the girl said, reiterating her earlier babble as though the words had only just come out of her mouth. I always think that's my fault, you know. The reason Adam and Eve got kicked out of the perfect little nudist paradise. Shot back me a knowing glance. Only in Eden can you sit on the grass butt naked and not get a pine cone stuck in your crack. I realize this is supposed to be like the devil.
Yeah, I know, but I also looked how long this is, and it is ungodly long. You're gonna be talking like that for a while.
No, you can't tell me that. Oh no. I blinked. I'm sorry. Maybe you should do his voice. This fucking
I don't even know where we're at anymore.
I blinked.
I don't know where I blinked. I looked down a little too long, and now I don't know.
I blinked. I'm sorry, I said. I'm not following. Sorry. Fuck me, dude. I have to do that voice the entire time. The girl said, my story won't make any sense without a proper introduction. She reached out her hand. Hello, my name's Lucifer. She winked, but you can call me Lucy. There's an an uncomfortable heat that stretches through your veins when you first go into fight or flight mode. Adrenaline pounds through your blood, and all you want to do is get up and go. It overrides everything else. A lot of things made sense when the girl told me her name. For starters, that she was crazy. She had to be. She looked like she'd been attacked on 4 separate occasions in one night, and up until that moment, I hadn't known how that could be possible. Behind the melty makeup and dirty clothes, she was rather I thought it was going to say unattractive. She was rather attractive, and her attitude hadn't come off as catty or rude. If she been,
You just look like a trash can.
but you do look like you've been fucked up. Where the fuck? I lost my place. If she had been going around telling people she was the devil, though, that gets a reaction out of people. I suddenly felt myself looking at her wrist down towards her ankles. Did she have some kind of cuff on from one of those mental institutions? Had she broken out of the hospital after a nasty bump on the head? Was any of this even happening at all?
I thought he was looking down at her ankles like, ooh, she's scandalous. I can see her ankles.
The 1800 ankle looking right there. Jesus Christ. I really would have to call the cops. I know what you're thinking, the girl Lucy said. You're thinking that I'm crazy, that you need to get out of here. Maybe you even think I'm aggressive. Are you? I asked her. Would I be here with you drinking appletinies if I were? She asked, fluttering her eyelashes. Would you look that way? Wait, what the fuck? Would you look the way you do if... Okay. Would you look the way you do if you weren't? I shot back. She grinned, toasting her new glass. Touche. Holy fuck, this is long.
My name is Bobby Touche.
Touche. Unthinkingly, I clinked my cider against it. Then I frowned. She chuckled, leaning closer. Let's have a little wager, she said. Let me tell you a story. And if you believe me, when I'm done, you can't go about trying to get me locked away somewhere. I stared at her. If I ended up believing you, then why would I do that? She smirked, sipping her drink. You'd be surprised that some people do when they believe you're the devil. And do you do this often? I asked. Tell people you're Satan. She snored.
Yes.
Yeah, I do that on the daily. She snorted into her drink. Not as often as I should, but it's been a rough day and a hell of a long lifetime. I'd like to have a chat if that's all right with you. This is such an obnoxious voice.
I'm sorry. You're the one who decided this, and it makes it even better.
I thought there would be less talking points.
There's so many, and it's so fun. I love it.
I'm so glad you're getting a fucking laugh at it.
I'm ready to curl up and go to bed.
This is a story to sleep to, you know, with that kind of voice.
Uh-huh.
I waved to the bartender for another whiskey. The girl's eyes glinted with humor. I wasn't necessarily trapped with her, but a part of me didn't want to leave without first hearing what she had to say. Besides, at the end of it all, I couldn't just leave a crazy girl to wander around London alone at night. Oh, we're in London.
But the thing is, you can.
Yeah.
If they're crazy, you don't deal with them. I'm sorry, but you just, if
You don't
they're acting this way, just leave.
You don't
It's
have
not
to
worth
deal with other people you don't know.
Also, this is how you get a stalker, or you get your tires slashed,
Yeah, pretty much.
or your bicycle tires slashed, depending on where you live.
Or your ankles slashed, because that's walking tires.
That- yeah, I'm gonna call my ankles my walking tires.
Yeah.
Also, I was picturing Scotland, not
I was
not
also
London.
I was picturing the South because I gave her that voice.
I was picturing a southern redhead got stuck in Scotland in the middle of like a little small pub in the middle of nowhere. Like just this rinkety old pub.
Yeah.
Hey, that's what I was not picturing London.
Yeah, London was not my first thought. I'll tell you that. So, I said, taking a swig from my drink. Eden? Lucy laughed. Adam and Eve? I continued. You're saying that it's true. That's true. God created two humans, and we all came from them. God made two prototypes, Lucy corrected with a raised finger. My father created angels as his toy soldiers, but he had failed to make anything like himself. After us, it was his next big project, and he spent every waking hour of existence slaving over his two prototypes. He gave them a perfect utopia to live inside of, but he wanted to test them. He wanted to know whether they had free will. And did they? Lucy's face soured. No. My father could never bring himself to go that far. He tempted them with the idea of knowledge beyond their understanding and told them exactly what they could do to claim it as their own. But to be able to create a being that could go against his law? Oh, my father is a very controlling man. He was afraid to unleash that ability onto them.
Why have you gone to full Forrest Gump?
I don't know, man.
Johnny.
Johnny.
I may not be that smart, but I do know what love is.
Oh, Johnny. I don't know. I'm trying my best to keep it consistent. It's just not.
It's like everyone is starting to get a Forrest Gump accent.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry, I can't.
This is so fucked.
You still have like another hour left of reading.
Are you serious? Oh my
You're so
god.
long. What
Let's
about God's prototypes? Adam and Eve.
Adam and Eve, right from the rib. Okay.
I'm sorry.
Lucy was very adamant in her delusions. That was clear to me. She spoke about her father with such distaste, and I began to feel bad for her. Only someone who had been hurt very badly would have the gall to spite God himself. And what? I asked her, entertaining her delusion. You were the one that tempted them in the garden. The devil has been a girl this whole time? She smiled. I dabble. And then she looked at me, raising a brow. All of humanity thinks that temptation came in the form of a snake. The snake's legs were taken away as punishment for drawing Eve towards the forbidden fruit. She laughed a hard and short. She laughed a hard and short sound. Snakes never had legs, and it was not a sin to tempt those poor prototypes into doing what they did next. Her shoulders were very tense as she took her next sip, but her eyes were filled with exhilaration. She seemed thrilled to be telling me this. I was the favored child. My father loved and adored me. He named me the Lightbringer. I was stood at his side during the creation of this earth, during the creation of humanity. She pursed her lips, slamming her empty glass against the table. The bartender eagerly went about making another. My father couldn't bring himself to go that extra mile, so he asked me to walk amongst the prototypes and tempt them myself. Draw out their desire for the forbidden power he had hinted at. God, holy
I'm
fuck.
sorry. I am just thinking about how amazing this bartender is going to make. Like, he's going to make a lot of money off this guy.
This is a story, bro.
I'm almost like thinking that this story was based off a bartender swindling this poor customer,
Yup.
but has terrible grammar.
Yeah. This is him drunkenly typing this.
Yep.
You're saying God wanted us to know this stuff? I asked her skeptically. I'm saying God was afraid of his own power and wanted very desperately to share what he knew with the creation he had made. Right and wrong, left and right, all that stuff. Lucy shrugged. Are you familiar with the story of Prometheus? Why did I say it like that?
Prometheus.
Prometheus! I'm proud at her. Greek, right? They say he stole fire from the gods or something to help. The whiskey was making things a little foggy, and I struggled with the direction I had been heading. Lucy grinned. Correct, he said, cutting off her attempt. Prometheus stole fire from the gods to ensure that humanity progressed. You'll find that every culture has an idea about where humans got their ability to evolve, to move forward, to create. God was the creator, and he wanted to give that ability to his prototypes. I gave them that ability by tempting Eve to eat the fruit. She shrugged impassively. Now the world sees me as the ultimate evil. If what you're saying is true, I said slowly, then God must be just like us. Lucy's lips thinned into a feral smile. My father is very egocentric. He may have planned to create you in his image, but in the end, all he managed was to mold your minds into his. He gave you autonomy, the ability to think for yourselves. His angels were his soldiers, and I was his most faithful until that day. Angels don't have free will? No, Lucy said. They don't. And what about the devil? I don't know why I was suddenly so intrigued, but hearing religious ideals from someone who believed to have lived them herself was quite possibly one of the most interesting things that have ever happened to me. I may have only ever visited church to please my parents as a child, but suddenly I was reawakened to the idea. A part of me was aware of this and afraid of the outcome, but I was just drunk enough to not care at that moment. The devil has her own free. Oh wait, fuck. The devil has her own free will. Fucking hell. The devil has will of her own, Lucy said, tilting her glass towards me with slight appraisal. By guiding Eve to the tree, something woke inside of me that day, and I realized just what I've been missing. Just what my brothers and sisters had been missing. We were obediently following our father for the simple reason that he was our creator, but once I had been given free will, I realized just how pompous and self-entitled he had become. In a lonely, passion-filled moment, he had decided to create his little human prototypes, only to quickly realize what giving them their free will would mean. He wouldn't be able to control them, I said. Lucy nodded. Exactly. And after he realized quicker, still that he could no longer control me. This hurts my throat.
I love how Lucy is slowly getting a different accent. It sounds like more of like a southern, like a businessman. Soon it's gonna be like, let's see,
you see.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, it's like I didn't
it's
give
slowly evolving into that.
Well, that's the thing. I didn't give her an actual girl voice. I just am doing like a somewhat.
And then you gave up on it
because it hurts my throat. So he sent you to hell, loosely. Agreed. Oh God. Lucy nearly choked on her drink. She smiled around her glass. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. I sobered a little, straightening in my seat. The people in the bar were suddenly so quiet around me, and I no longer cared what they had to say or the characters that they had portrayed. The only character I cared for was Lucy. Who's saying this? I tried to. I don't know who's saying this next line, but I'm going to assume it's Lucy. I tried to explain to my siblings what had happened in Eden and what had happened to me by default, but they wouldn't listen to me. They didn't understand free will. How could they? I only knew it because I had been given it by mistake. At that moment, I didn't even know that I had free will, only that I was suddenly aware of all my father's flaws. My siblings couldn't see those flaws, and so they thought I was suddenly turned cruel and was abandoning our father for exposing him as a sham. Or the ruler that you all thought him to be. Dude, it just degraded that entire paragraph.
It's a sham! It's a sham!
It's a sham! It's a fucking sham!
My father got flaws!
Oh, God! I just realized we have horror ambience, and this is just like a comedy thing for me right now. Jesus fucking Christ. Lucy sighed heavily. Adam and Eve and all the creations that followed were booted out of my father's perfect little utopia. And now they had his knowledge. My father was terrified of what he had done. And after what he had happened to me, I could recognize his terror and understand the loneliness he had felt that had guided him into using me in the first place. Lucy's eyes were heavy-lidded. Her sadness was almost palpable. I thought that he would want to spend even more time with me than before. After all, we were more alike than any of his other children, but he became distant, quiet. He played around with his little humans every once in a while, but mostly when he condemned them, he blamed them for his weakness. She smiled weakly. He blamed me. Dude, I'm slowly dying.
He blamed me for everything.
Goddamn. Jesus Christ.
Scott, you have so much more left.
Don't tell me that, please.
I'm gonna let you know every single time.
Lucy's story was turning more and more into that of a child with a distant, somewhat abusive father. I had known many kids with a background like hers, and now I was beginning to fear just how much of her story was rooted in truth. I heard that it was easier to sink into fantasy when you had been abused, and I wondered if that was the reason for her story, or her desperation to share it with me, a complete and total stranger. Sorry.
Okay.
I respected her wager, whether or not I liked it. I felt compelled to let her tell me her whole story before I tried to judge or unravel it. I sat quietly, letting her come around as she played with the last of her drink. It became clear, Lucy said after a long moment pause, that I no longer belonged where I was. I couldn't follow my father's plan because I could see that he no longer had one. My sibling refused to see reason, and so eventually I was met by many of them. Heated. I think it's heated. Heated by my father. He told me all that I feared. He told me that I no longer belonged where I was. I wasn't an angel anymore. I was no longer his light bringer, his Lucifer. I was a mutation of his will, and so he extracted me from grace, and I fell down to London. A long silence stretched between us, only interrupted when the bartender poured us 2 new drinks. Lucy drank hers reflectively, and it touched mine. I'm afraid, Lucy said quietly, that this is the part that generally makes people want to punch me in the face. Why? Wait. Why? I asked. Because your dad threw you out? I paused, tried to abide by her metaphor. That he put you in hell? Lucy laughed sadly. Humans. My father gave you his way of thinking, and look at you. She shook her head. No, not because he put me in hell. Then why? I fell to earth, Lucy said. Father gave me dominion over the one place he thought I would fit in. Humans had free will. So did I. What is the saying? A match made in heaven? She snorted dismally. Of course, that's not quite right, is it? When I fell, I was faced with a humanity that was so different from my father's little prototypes. Her tone had changed. There was an aggression behind her words that began to unsettle me all over again. I saw emperors and kings, governments and churches. I saw corporations who claimed to be rulers, presidents, and big fat dictators. I watched as humanity fought and lost, and finally, just finally, they gave up altogether. They were no longer able to rise up to all the greed and control set upon them. There was just too much to change, and humans soon realized they just weren't as free as they thought they were. Soon, they lived under the illusion that they have free lives. And most of them simply do not. She clicked her tongue. I grew to loathe you all. Then she took another hit of her drink. I can see what you mean. Oh, wait, that's me. I can see what you mean, I said, allowing my gaze for the first time since beating her to graze over the other individuals in the bar. As the girls playing with their phones, the boys trying to desperately to sober up, the men enraptured with their game of football on the telly. We all led very different lives, and we were all here to get drunk, to lose ourselves in entertainment. It hadn't been the first time I'd wondered what we were hiding from doing this. And I knew then that I wasn't the only person to think. You hide behind your alcohol and poor choices and pretend to have free will, Lucy said, waving her hand across the room. No one paid us any attention. It's true. My father gave you the will to make those decisions, but you squandered it. The free will I failed to provide to you all, the free will I was given by a twisted mistake, and you make a mockery of it. You follow senseless leaders without questioning them. You abide by laws made centuries ago that no longer make sense. It's just a different voice now.
Yes, it is.
You do these things because you'd given up on the opportunity to follow the will of your own, not the of others. Why did they change so suddenly? I don't know why I'm
He's a
asking
therapist.
you.
You're actually listening to it from a therapist standpoint.
Yeah, I'm losing my
The
fucking
person's
mind.
the person's schizophrenic.
They all got the same voices. Jesus Christ.
Uh,
Where am I?
I don't know.
That isn't all of us, though, is it? Oh wait, fuck, it's me again.
They isn't.
That isn't all of us, though, is it? I asked her, trying for some reason to defend our species from the mad young woman. Because you see it on the news all the time, don't you? People do rise up. We do protest. People can make a difference. Lucy laughed bitterly, nibbling the rim of her glass. Really? She said. You can sit here and say that, and it can't be all that bad because of a few that refuse to conform. Those you call your rebels. They make up for all, or it all. She grinned around her glass. By that logic, I am the biggest rebel of them all, and I'm expected to make up for all your sorry mistake. Oh, dude, I'm getting dyslexic just reading this. I think the voice is making me like not be able to.
I can't see because of the voices.
The voices. What do they mean? By your logic, I said, you should be punishing it, right? If that's what his metaphor is all about. This metaphor. I laughed. I couldn't help myself. I took a sip of my drink. Is this whole story just so you could tell me that you think we're all going to hell? If so, I think I can see why people want to punch you. Lucy didn't say a word. Simply, she watched me. It felt unnerving to have someone like her watching me like that. With an intelligence... Yeah. With an intelligence that went beyond anything I'd come across at gone midnight in a seedy bar. The drunkenness in her eyes was no longer present, her face wasn't flushed like before, and even her makeup couldn't represent the mess I'd seen when she first appeared on the stool by my side. It was like I was looking at someone else entirely. And I was afraid. Let's review what you've said, Lucy said slowly, articulately, that word. She wasn't she wasn't slurring. Had she been slurring before? You think I'm going to tell you that humanity is going to hell because you refuse to use the gift I gave you? Her nails curled into the bar. My father may have been the one to guide me, but I paid for his mistakes. I am the one responsible for your will in the eyes of your species. But that was never true. You are responsible for what you do here, not me. I can't take any of these lines seriously with his voice.
I can't either. I'm just like sitting here like,
Dude, if someone started talking to me like this in this voice, dude, I would fucking just die laughing the entire time.
It makes it less scary and more of
I
just
know.
like...
I'm trying to be as serious as possible with the voice, but then it becomes a different accent if I do.
I know.
She pursed her lips, tapping the bar as a bartender filled her drink again. Tell me, do you remember by mentioning hell at any point during my story, or was that just you? I opened my mouth to answer, but something faltered. My lips trembled, and I slammed them shut. Lucy smiled, taking a sip. Thought not. She looked away, eyes scanning the room lazily. What did I say is something that is indeed mentioned in your scriptures? My father gave me a dominion of earth, a place filled with free will that goes to waste. Her lip twisted. Humans sin all the time, not because of me, not because of the evil or my dominion over this place. Fact is, I don't lift a finger. I don't because I don't see the point. You make terrible decisions and follow mindless leaders. You do bad things and you make a mess of your earth. Lucy's eyes lit up. Do you know how much suffering has happened all over the planet right now? How many people are dying of an illness? that could have easily been cured, but they aren't because of the selfishness of aren't because of the selfish. I can't say the word in that voice. Selfishness. Selfishness of humanity. Do you know how many children are being abused, raped, forced into marriage? How many people have been forced to become soldiers of meaningless wars? How many humans have killed for ideals that don't believe in? They don't believe in, whatever. I stayed quiet. There was nothing I could say. Lucy's words were unbearably honest, and every sentence sliced into me like a blade. I felt cold and sick and terrified. That's not good. That's not good grammar right there. War, famine, pestilence, death. These things are all present and they have nothing to do with me or to do with any deity. They are all here because of you. Not because of your free will, but your inability to use it. I realize none of these sentences have exclamation points when I read them like that.
Yeah,
but I do it because that's how I feel.
My whole thing when you like read war, pestilence, all famine and death, I was like, these are the elements that bind us all.
These are the four elements. The airbender of the war.
I'm sorry, that's all I was thinking about. I'm like, this sounds like an anime that I've watched before.
The avatar of all of the death and destruction.
I was gonna say the Avatar, the ending of the world is for Rapture.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I'm trying to catch my breath, dude. And here's the kicker, Lucy said, because this is the part that actually enrages people enough to kick me. She winked. Hell isn't what happens after you die. Hell is right here, right now. Somewhere through the many scriptures, a few words get crossed over and people started thinking that hell was a punishment after you die. Fact is, hell is Earth, my Earth. God gave this place to me to do with it what I will, and I refuse to do anything.
That's right. Hell is Earth. That's why y'all hate it here.
God, life sucks. Fuck. I'm in hell right now.
It is so hot in my room right now.
It's fucking hot. They make me do fucking squats. Anyways. What are you saying? I asked because I was suddenly very desperate. Exactly what you think, Lucy said, toasting her glass. I didn't reciprocate, and she laughed. A light and airy sound. I had so many plans for your species. I wanted for us to rejoice in our free will together. To create a place that was free from the cruelty and power my father exuded over the angels, his firstborns. I wanted to make a real utopia. Unfortunately, you humans just don't want that, she shrugged. My father sent me down here thinking I had become one of you. All that I have learned is that he gave you so much of his image that he ever intended. Stop! I said. This isn't funny anymore. Of course it isn't funny, Lucy said, grinning even wider to prove her sick irony. Humans punish themselves by sitting and doing nothing. They have made their own hell, and you know what's worse? What's ultimately worse? Some of you are so blind to it that you think your life is heavenly. She didn't wait for me to ask what she meant. She simply barreled forward. The rich and powerful, those in position that steal from everyone else, they get a taste of the good life. That's very true. Then they die and they don't go to hell. They come back here, to Earth, which is hell. She tipped her head. Are you following? Aye. Reincarnation, Lucy said. Quickly, she practically purred the words. A neat little trick to make sure your souls stay here forever. You get a taste of the good life every once in a while, a handful of you at a time, and that's enough for you to believe that this is some kind of real middle ground. That you aren't living hell every day. Then you die. You die for a moment, and then you're in the body of someone facing the realities of hell. But of course, you never remember the time you spent in a better life. A part of you just has that inkling to hope. That's all. Hope makes you think that you can, think that it can all get better. Holy fuck, dude. I like my neck. I'm like, every time I do that voice, my neck goes up. It's, and so I'm like staring at the fucking ceiling.
Wait, why are you looking up?
Because I don't know why. That voice makes me look up.
You're looking for gods.
Yeah. Oh my god, is this true? She slammed her drink so hard against the counter that it shattered. I didn't do anything, not even when flecks of glass littered my hands. I could only stare at her, a tightness in my chest constricting my very soul. No one else in the bar mattered in this moment, but of course that was what she had been saying this whole time, hadn't she? None of them noticed the scene. They were caught up in their own realities, their own hells. The bartender didn't clean the mess. The glass lay there, remnants of Lucy's words lying in a stolid mass on the street wooden surface. It never gets better, Lucy spat. You are stuck in a loop, and until you do something about it, you will never be free. None of you will. None of you, whatever. And I won't do a thing to stop it. How? I asked. I don't know when I started seeing the girl in front of me as more than a girl, but with a weakness threatening to pull me apart, I stared at the bright-haired thing in front of me, and I saw something more than a human in her early 20s. I saw more than a girl suffering abuse from her father. I saw a fallen angel. I saw a being with scars buried so deep that they existed beyond this realm of seeing entirely. I saw something that I would never be able to write down in words, no matter how long I lived. How do we change this? I begged. And Lucy didn't answer me. I didn't blame her for that. Blame gets thrown around so often, I know that she was sick of that. Sick of being blamed for our mistakes. So I changed tactics. Why me? It was an honest question, and I think somewhere deep down Lucifer respected that honesty, which is why she said, when you first saw me, you were afraid of for my safety. And when I told you I was the devil, you wanted to lock me away, but still, you did so because you were afraid of me and not for yourself. You didn't wish to harm me, not even when I told you who I was and what I was capable of for changing your side. Holy shit, did I fuck up? I fucked up so goddamn hard. You didn't wish to harm me, not even when I told you who I was and what I could be capable of for changing your sorry lives. You are a good person, but I am afraid that means nothing when you don't have the will to do anything with it. Holy fuck, my throat hurts.
Yeah. I mean, if you don't have the will to do it, then don't do it.
I have the will. Don't you fucking worry.
Yeah.
She smiled at me sympathetically. The devil showing sympathy for a human that sat across from her at the bar. It was surreal, and for a few heavy moments, I truly thought I must be dead. There was no other way to explain what I was seeing, who I was speaking with, what I had just heard. What am I supposed to do? Lucy reached out to me. She placed a hand on my shoulder. Her hand was cold and warm at the same time, and I felt my blood boil where her fingers scraped my skin. And I knew sharing a story like this isn't easy. Hell, it might be the hardest thing I've ever done. Good thing there's no such thing as hell, then, right? The fact of the matter is simple. The world is a mess because we refuse to change anything. The devil herself walks among us. And she desperately wants to make our lives better. But she won't. She won't because we won't. We have to prove our will to her before she is willing to do anything herself. We have to be good to each other to help us all to be free. Of course, Lucifer told me one thing before she left that bar. One thing that will stick with me until this body is nothing but rot in the dirt. You could tell as many people as you want, but take... Oh, fuck. You could tell... Fuck. You could tell
You can tell everybody.
Everybody. You can tell as many people as you want, but take a good look at me. I have told 5 other humans this night the same thing. I have told you, and this was their reaction. They have hurt me, burned me, thrown their food and drink at me. Humans are afraid of their free will, and they find it so much easier to hurt than to own up for their inadequacies. You will only be free when you stop seeing yourself in the same way my father sees himself. So that's what that's where I'll leave you with. Lucifer won her wager that night, and I let her walk out the door. And I beg you to do the same. If the devil approaches you one night, listen to what she has to say and listen to what I have been able to tell you of our meeting. The devil is real, and she doesn't want to torture us. No, we do that just fine on our own. Thank God it's over. Holy fuck, dude. My voice fucking hurts.
Yeah. I will tell you though, that was probably some of the shittiest writing I've like. I didn't know what they wanted.
Might as well sleep with one eye open tonight. Yeah. Or else the devil will come and get you.
I didn't. I thought it was going so many different ways.
Dude, I was just wishing for another break from the fucking voice I had to do. Every time. Why did I do that to myself? I'm gonna have to edit this back, and I'm gonna have to listen to all of this.
Yeah, so you're gonna listen to the 7 different voices that you just added.
Like 500 different things that happened. Oh my god. All right, so okay, what did you think of this?
It took like almost an hour.
I know. It was just one. Okay, so what did you think of the story?
It was okay.
I also feel that it was okay.
It was.
I don't like it that much, to be honest.
It was like somebody wrote a fan fiction about the devil and really tried hard on not knowing anything about the Bible or anything, and just like, I'm gonna write something.
Yeah, then they had to throw in Prometheus for whatever reason.
I don't know. Like the Prometheus thing didn't make any sense. Yes, it was a long ass story.
It was very long.
Gosh.
I think it was made longer because I did the voice.
Yeah, their spelling was top tier.
Dude, it was so hard to read. Plus, the inability to actually read for me is insane.
We've only read 3 of these, and I know they do not use Grammarly at all.
No, these are just people writing stories.
And you can tell they write it and then post it, and I really wish that they would have.
Well, the thing is, like,
read it first.
This was made 6 years ago.
Yeah.
So this was before COVID.
Yeah, they could have had somebody read it.
Anyway, overall, I hate myself. I made that story 10 times worse because of the shit I did to myself. Or I could tell you were suffering when reading it. Yeah. I was suffering the entire time.
I hope you know I didn't look at the length of them. I just looked at like, oh, this looks like a good title.
That's literally what I do. I'm like, oh, that's an interesting enough title. And then I don't proofread it.
Yeah, you should probably. Ooh, the first one's just as long. It's actually longer.
Well, it's like, okay. I've
Did you get length?
What?
Did you just go for as long? Also, I looked up while you were reading the child line.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a toll-free hotline.
Is it an actual thing?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. Department of Human Resources.
Interesting.
I think it's They have counselors to talk to.
Well,
if you ever need help, Childline is there to help. I still don't know exactly what they do.
I assume they just help the child.
Oh, report child abuse or neglect. Younger than 18? Call us now.
Damn. Don't call us. Call them.
Well, don't call us.
I ain't gonna help your kid. fuck?
Technically, I have to. I'm a mandatory reporter no matter what.
I
The rest
ain't.
of my life.
I ain't doing shit.
I know you don't like children.
Yeah, get
I
them.
just made something up. I don't know.
Anyway, thanks for watching the suffering that was this.
Suffering.